Hey everybody, Rob Hunden here, CEO of Hunden Partners, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about a great trend that's happening in real estate venue development around the world, but really headquartered here in London so far, but making its way across the pond to the United States in a variety of forms and fashions for entertainment, for sports, for retail activations, for all kinds of immersive experiences. So tonight I'm here at the Troubadour Canary Wharf Theater, where we just opened the Hunger Games. As of last night was opening night after 3 weeks of previews. We are investors in the theater and the Hunger Games IP, as well as I'm a co-producer on the show. So I have intimate knowledge of this situation, but also knowledge about the other semi-permanent venues that have been developed, or temporary venues that have been developed in London for different immersive experiences. So this one was purpose-built for the Hunger Games and is in the round. Features 1,500 seats, was built for under 20 million pounds. The show itself, the production, is about 9 million and the theater is less than 20, so the grand total is under 27 million pounds for the two combined. About 5 to 10% of what a similar permanent structure would cost to build anywhere in London or the States. Now, the other venue that we're talking about is the ABBA Arena, and that is a totally hologram experience with some real people in the band on stage, but it's a completely immersive, purpose-built experience. Now, that one was built for 175 million pounds. It seats 3,000 people, and they thought they would be taking it down by now and moving it to Munich, Germany. However, the show's been so popular and sold out night after night after night, and that's where we just came from, that they're going to simply build another one in Germany while this one continues to go until it doesn't go anymore. There was an impact report that recently said that the ABBA experience and venue has brought 323 million pounds of impact to the London economy because people are coming from all over to go to this. And then finally, we have the Starlight Express experience at the Wembley Park Theater, also a Troubadour theater, the same people that did this. That is about 1,000 seats. I can't reveal the development cost, but it was also very compelling and inexpensive relative to a permanent venue. Now, what do all these three have in common? Well, first, they're semi-permanent, deconstructible, temporary. The other thing that's really interesting about these is that in London, most people go to what's called the West End for theater, sort of like Broadway in New York. People go to the Times Square area to see Broadway shows. Well, here, none of these three temporary venues are actually in the West End, which is super crowded with tourists. Each of these are located in areas that have these things in common. So first off, the Canary Wharf is in Canary Wharf, which is a mixed-use district, which is mostly office, but also residential and retail and restaurant, as well as experiential. We have the Cube experience right here, and hotels, right? So this is a mixed-use district that is not in central London. It is more east. However, there is a tube stop literally about a block away. And so that's key. So the transit is key. Now, second, we have the ABBA Arena, which is basically one stop off of Olympic Park and the huge Westfield Mall there where they had the London Olympics in 2012. And so that's a huge area for retail and entertainment and dining and all of that. And it's one stop off of that. But it's nowhere near downtown, right? It's nowhere near central London or the West End. And then finally, we have the Starlight Express Theater at Wembley Park Stadium. Wembley Park Stadium is way out from the city. It is not anywhere close to central London. And so we have all three of these being in the outer areas outside of central London and yet doing very well. And people will go, they'll take the train, they'll take the tube to get to each of these things. They're having a great experience because each of these is purpose-built. There's plenty of leg room, there are plenty of bathrooms, there's plenty of food and beverage opportunities, unlike West End theaters or Broadway theaters in New York, where they only let you in 30 minutes before. You have to pick your poison, either get in line for the bathroom or get in line for the bar. You may not get either, right? And they're very cramped and crowded. That's just the sort of because of how old they are and when they were built. So most of these are not super great experiences for the theater goer. And of course, it's super crowded in these areas, both Times Square and the West End of London. So what we're seeing with these temporary venues is not just the fact that they're temporary or semi-permanent, but the fact that they are absolutely in newly developed areas that are anchor districts for retail, restaurant, mixed use, etc., along major transit lines and corridors. So those are the things that are happening over here across the pond. And we're going to start seeing more and more of this in the United States and elsewhere around the world as people realize the cost of construction of permanent venues and the lack of flexibility in these permanent venues makes them less and less feasible to develop, own, and operate over time. So we believe this is the wave of the future. Look for more. There are already more in the works that we'll be revealing to you in the future. So stay tuned. Until next time, keep making great places.